Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday morning trading session. My apologies here for being a little bit late, having a couple of issues, tech issues. So, see, come on, data feed. Where are you? Let's try this again. Try to get the data up and running. One nice thing about the Geiger counter and, of course, the bid-ask window on the Trade Manager is you can tell when your data's not flowing. All right, looks like it's going to kick in. I haven't loaded my Trade Manager yet. I'm going to show you a little setup that you can do. Once everything loads, all right. Some people are confused about the Trade Manager and how to load it efficiently. Here's the easiest way to do it. Let's assume here for a second, I'm going to take that off. The first time you load up a chart and you load your Trade Manager, you just double click on there. Then you go through your Trade Manager, make your changes. So for instance, you may want to change the invalid stop entry to a different value. Maybe 30 ticks or something a little bit further away from the market. I tend to change the way my font size. I like to have it displayed on the right, not the left. I'll make some changes to my risk parameters. See, my risk volatility percentage by default is 1%. I change that to 2, and so on and so forth. Once you make these changes, click here on Save and give it a name. I don't care what you call it anything. Press Enter, and that will save it now as a template. So the next time you load your Trade Manager, you just go here to load, and I'm going to load my Hawk template. I'm going to select my account, and I just click Apply, and now I have all my favorite settings, exactly how I like to have my Hawk chart set up. When you close your Ninja, save your settings. I don't know if you know this, but most times when you close your Ninja, you should not save any changes. You should only save with Ninja, your workspace, when you've made any changes. So for instance, you've changed the contract month, you've made some changes to the Trade Manager, you've done something that requires a significant change to be recorded. Otherwise, when I close at the end of the session, I do not save the workspace. Ben put me onto that one. Apparently, there's something about repeatedly saving the same workspace over and over and over that somehow you can start to corrupt the file. That's what I'm told anyway. So there's a little tip for you. Okay. Anthony's still bullish here on the NQ. He's looking for a bounce up to 58.42. Well, we'll see. Right now, things looking a little bit bearish, at least as far as the Hawk and the Falcon are concerned. The Eagle, of course, now into the hard edge. And here we are producing a red bar buy off of the hard edge. That tends to be a high probability signal for the Eagle. It is a continuation signal. And it looks like we're going to have an opportunity at a second push entry on that. So namely what we look for is we look for the signal to engage, we look for the market to flinch, and then we can set up the trade. In this case, I may even set it up above the high of the ATR so everything flips over. That signal now voided because now we're producing a sell signal. The overall trend still looking down, however. Oh, got a nice late filter entry signal here on the Falcon. The late filter entry occurs when the filter goes out of sync, comes back into sync. Trend line never ever changes color. Muy importante. That trend line has to stay red or green. No real opening gap to deal with this morning. And you Raptor traders are chomping at the bit for something to do, so let's see. We're down here now to the high of the morning, getting a little bit of a reaction. We got a we got a number 2 signal back here. That's our counter trend signal. It did occur after a number 3 signal, which tends to make the counter trend signal a little bit more probable. We got some very strong selling going on here out of the open. We saw that big rally down. All right, so the Raptor now moving back to the hard edge. We are getting something resembling an early cloud crossover signal. Can I cover it up here? Oh, no, a little bit out of reach. here on the hawk, we now have a first micro macro cross higher. So the hawk, the first of the tools here to get a little bit more bullish on us. The first micro macro cross, a pretty high probability signal overall. Oh, and now that's into yellow bars, so that spoils that signal. We're stuck. The Falcon going to produce a trend change signal. Let's see here whether we get a hard edge bounce off of the Raptor. Now, normally when the cloud starts to get twisted up like this, I really don't pay that much attention to it. I'm not looking for a trade because I'm bored, right? I want to look for a trade because the market conditions are right. And that's going to take time. But I'll be paying attention to the market flow. You see how we had another test of the low here, and now we're coming up, and we're producing another buy signal. You may view that as a very drawn out number 2 signal, even though the band is very, very neutral right now. And you can see the result, not a lot of follow through. I don't know, sometimes you just have to wait. I know it's tough, but better waiting than losing money, right? Okay, here we have the eagle now. We have a completed rule of 3 signal. And let's see if I get a second push on that one. Okay, so with the rule of 3 signal, we have, it's a counter trend signal. So remember, whenever you have counter trend signals, there's 2 things you need. First, you need a trend, check, got that. Then we need a retest of the trend and a failure. In the case of the rule of 3, we're going to also produce at least 3 signals against the dominant band. The band is bullish. We're producing sell signals. The Raptor kind of producing a double pullback, where we have a pullback into the band, here comes signal 1, another pullback, here comes signal 2. It's going to be important that we get through the lows here of the morning. And it's quarter to the hour, my least favorite time of the day to trade. Because this tends to be a time when the market can do something a little odd. Okay, I've got a pretty big stop here right now, and I think I just saw a count. No, that's a with trend signal. I may start to get a little bit more aggressive with my stop. Maybe go with, let's see what the parabolics are doing. That's pretty good. So I'm going to take a lot of stop out of this trade. I'm going to run the parabolics, and hopefully we will see the market drift a little lower here for us. Okay, hit the break-even trigger. Oh, don't you do that. Stinkers. Okay, just making a couple notes in my journal. Well, that was too bad. But better early stop out than a full-blown reversal. Okay, here come the buyers now, making a really strong push on this market. And we should produce a first micro-macro cross here on the Hawk. We should produce a trend change signal on the Falcon. The Eagle's going to be out of sorts here for a little bit. And the Raptor is trying to cross the clouds. You see they got a cloud crossover lower. Market probably came down, tagged the profit, high probability profit target, and then reversed, which is not that unusual. Now we've doing the same thing to the upside, where we're seeing this number 2 signal complete, hit its high probability target, and now it looks like it may reverse, pull back into the band, and then we'll, if it comes out of here with a buy signal, then we're going to have that cloud crossover to the upside. So a little bit of a conflicted market here this morning. Oh, there it is, cloud crossover signal. And we have a chance at a second push entry. Can I cover it below the lows? No, I can't. All right, well, at the very least, I should cover it as far back as I can. And it looks like they slipped me a couple of ticks on that one too. Stinkers. Let's see if I can't get those 2 ticks back. Don't stop now. Oh, really? Was that another break-even tap? Oh, it was too. Doggone it. Didn't even get my journal entry done. which is unfortunate because now we would have gone up to our profit target. Yeah, Paul says the market moves too fast to even set up a trade. This is where your buy and sell market buttons come in handy. Now, if you're going to hit the buy and sell market buttons, sometimes it's advisable if you have the chance, change to manual mode so that you can restrict your position size. Otherwise, you may end up a little heavier than you want. You see, if I hit the buy market button, I have 2 orders in play because this would be my invalid stop entry. Remember, I pointed that out this morning here on Trade Manager. By default, it's set at 10. I've changed mine to 30. What that means is if I do not have an active stop in play, it will give me a stop 30 ticks away. And that's all well and good. Once I have this stop, I can move it around wherever I want. But it will also base my position size on that 30 tick stop. So if I had been in manual mode, I would have only got a single contract. Because I was in risk percent mode, it allows me 2 contracts. So, you know, it's good in one way that I maximize my position, not so good in another way. Because now if I need to pull my stop back, instead of, let's say I pull my stop back to here, so instead of risking 2% of my capital, now I'm probably risking closer to 4%, which is still okay. Technically speaking, anything less than 5% is considered prudent, but you don't want to start risking large sums if you can help it. So the way to avoid that is you either go here into your strategies window and you go to your trade manager and you change this value to something larger, maybe to say to 50 ticks. Remember, you can always adjust it. That's just going to set your initial stop. With Trade Manager as well, you cannot make changes while the Trade Manager is on. So it's best to make these changes first thing, or obviously if you're not in a trade, you want to be able to turn your Trade Manager off. So you'll go here to your Enable tab and turn it off by going to False, Apply, and that will eliminate the Trade Manager. All right, I was hoping I could get this back to a break-even type situation, but maybe not. It's you can see we're now producing the counter trend signal because the Raptor deemed this a test at the extreme, and now it's trying to head lower. The band not really that extended right now. You know, very often if you think the market has a strong trend, you can pick up these secondary signals that print. They're still valid signals, but they may not be high probability signals. The high probability signals, of course, are the ones that are going to be numbered. Or if you're looking to re-enter a trade that you may have been stopped out on, as I was, Or if you're looking to add to a profitable position, let's say your trade is at break even and you want to add more contracts, you can add in on additional signals. Come on, get up there. Give me the break even. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we've got one contract that we've taken profit on. The other one still in running mode. And maybe, just maybe, we will see this stretch out a little. No! Don't tag me at break even again. Oh, oh well. At least I got one profitable trade out of the deal. All right, we'll put that back on the shelf and look now for our next opportunity. But you know, when the market is moving quickly like that, sometimes that's really the best way to get into a trade. Just grab that break even button. Uh-oh. Anthony's feeling the pain here. Anthony says, I'm out of the trade. Certain things should have happened. I'm going short now. I've had those days too where you buy, the market goes down, you sell, the market goes up, you swear somebody's looking over your shoulder. Oh, sorry folks, I missed the late filter entry signal here on the Falcon. So right now, anyways, we've got a little bit more of a, well, I'm going to say a slightly more bullish bias. The market certainly struggling a little bit. But trying to plod higher. And plod might just be the operative word here this morning. Well, we are getting another first micro-macro cross signal here on the Hawk. You're probably looking at this and saying, wait a minute, how can that be a first micro-macro cross? The micro lines and macro lines never crossed over. This is true. You can, however, get more than one first micro-macro cross within a trend. The first one occurred back here, where the micro lines and macro lines crossed. This was your first signal that printed where everything was in sync. But note what happens here. Everything goes out of sync. Oh, actually here too. So we have another first micro-macro cross right here. That one didn't trigger. And we're working another one right here. So everything goes out of sync. Our trend lines are out of sync. Bars are out of sync. Filter goes out of sync. Everything comes back into sync. That's what the first micro macro cross shows you. It shows you a market that is all jumbled out of sync, and then it comes back into sync, and that gives you your buying opportunity. In this case, for a short-term little scalp higher. Okay, Paul says just hit the buy button and I was in a trade, but no trade lines appeared, i.e. buy stop target. Okay, I'm going to void this trade because now we're into yellow bars. Your buy and sell market buttons will default to your values down here. So make sure you have a target enabled. If it's a 50-50 split and you're only getting one contract, it will probably leave it open as a runner. It will default to the runner position. If you're at 100% here, then you're all in, all out, and it should give you a profit target. You will not get a stop. Well, you'll get your invalid stop, but if you have your trail indicator enabled and you have your trade manager stops going, you will get a stop wherever trade manager is displaying those blue dots. So you have to make sure some of these features are turned on in order to get, your targets, to get your stop losses. Of course, you can always add them after. But if you want them to show up initially, that's how it's done. And by the way, Paul, if you continue to have issues with that, that should solve the problem. But if you continue to have issues with that, don't hesitate to send an email to Ben, and he'll get you squared away. But those will be the first things he will ask you to try, is to make sure you have sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once. Make sure you have your trail indicator tab enabled, and make sure that you have a profit target set. All right, we got a little bit of a hard edge bounce here. Technically, it did not reach the hard edge, but visually that would have been close enough for me to try the hard edge bounce. And the market continuing to press. And it's starting to shape up like a buyer's market. Okay, so that first micro-macro cross that I was looking at here got spoiled by the yellow bar, but it came back with yet another first micro-macro cross, and that one also going higher. For those of you trading the E-mini, we had a nice little cloud crossover, kind of snuck in there because the crossover was very subtle, but the Raptor caught it all the same, gave us a cloud crossover signal. There's a nice little rally on the E-mini for those of you following that market. Ooh, they're going all out now. Okay, well, we're looking at a very good little rally here. We're kind of made a strong push up, and ideally we will see a hard edge bounce or a continuation signal of some sort. Mr. Buckaloo asking, is there something wrong with the support and resistance lines, or is it just me? Oh, yes. Hold on, where are they? No, they're there. So the support and resistance suite right here. The line's a little bit broader today. That's reflecting some of the increased volatility that's come into the market. You can see we took a little bounce here off the primary resistance line. We're drifting up to the next resistance zone. They are going hard. Look at them go. Here's that big buy spike that made its way through the Geiger counter. We should see a little bit of a retracement here. There's going to be some profit taking. The sellers are going to try beating up on the buyers. We have a very extended band now, and we've obviously got a trending market. So I would be open to the possibility of a counter trend move here. If they give me one. Got to see a test, a retest here of the high. And then a little bit of a failure and a sell signal. Well, there's a sell signal. Are they not going to give me that retest? No, you stinkers. You're going to slip all the way down here to the hard edge and not give me a proper setup. Well, just for that, I may look at buying a hard edge bounce. If they're going to be that way. We don't usually see these, what they call V tops and V bottoms. There's usually a little bit more to it than that. Stops are going to be the tough one here. If we produce a hard edge bounce here, I can at least run the stop below one of these swing lows here at around 58.04. Come on. Play nice. Oh, quick little push. Oh, there it is. There's the hard edge buy. Son of a gun. Okay, cover it below the low of the morning. That I can do. Okay, so we're getting an opportunity here at a second push entry as well. The second push entry simply means we allow the signal to engage and then flinch so we know the limit, the current limit of the buyers and sellers. All right, let's see if we get that push through now. I'll probably end up being a little bit aggressive with my stops. The danger here, of course, is given our proximity to the highs, any uptick could turn and could turn into a test of the extreme and a failure. I would have much preferred an entry signal down here. The buyers made a break above the high of the morning back here. They owe me one more push up. probably some trend line resistance or something getting in the way. This could be considered now the second pullback into the trading band, into the cloud. If we come out here with another buy signal, that will be the double pullback signal that I was talking about the last couple of days. You could even take a look at an earlier entry if we produce a buy signal. There it is. It's close enough to the highs here to this one that I'm just going to leave the entry the same. But you could enter a couple of ticks earlier based on this double pullback signal if you chose. All right, here they go. Are they going to push through? The Geiger counter was looking bullish here for a moment. Oh, now it's pulling back. There we go. That's what I'd like to see. That's not what I want to see. That's what I want to see. When the dial pulls over and sticks to the buy side, that suggests that we have a flood of buy orders coming into the market. All right, so we're almost an hour into the session. A lot of times this is when we will see a reversal against the dominant trend if there is one, but looking for one more push up here. See if we can't get it. Darn it, now we're coming in with a counter trend signal. I may have to bring my stops up a little bit early put them there. So I'll give them until this swing low right here. Yeah, all right. Well, it was worth a try. Oh, and here comes yet another number 3 signal. All right, so I'm going to try it one more time. This now giving me a slightly better entry opportunity. I think they slipped me a tick there again. I've got a little bit more room here now before we get back near the highs. So I think I'm entering at a better price. I guess in hindsight I should have left my stop alone, left it below the low of the morning where I had it. And I would not have incurred that loss. Stop loss is not a loss unless it gets hit. That's an important thing to remember. Oh, don't turn around again. Like I said, the market owes me one more move higher here. The challenge is going to be holding on long enough. to get it. Yeah, I'm wondering that too. Paul says a bear flag, maybe? I'm wondering. We're certainly sideways, no question about that. Um, on the one hand, you could look at it and you could say, well, it may be a bull flag. And then you can also look at it and you can say, maybe it's a bear flag. Yeah, there's certainly a couple of ways you can look at this market right now, and that probably accounts for the neutral sideways nature of the trade. All right, boys and girls, I'm just going to leave you here for a moment. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. I'm back. Oh, and it looks like I came back a little bit too early. We got another rally come into the market, and I was trying to avoid tweaking myself out of a perfectly good trade. I was hoping that maybe they would already be up to their profit objective. Come on, let's go. There we go. We got the break even. I could extend the profit target a little bit. Um, where's our next resistance line? After 53.29.5, we're way up here to 58.58. That's a monster move. Don't you dare hit me at break even again after all this. All right, there we go. Hooray for the good guys. Yeah, I'm kicking myself for rolling my stop up so quickly there. Cost myself a few dollars. I didn't need to. But such is trading. You make a decision and you have to be prepared to live with it. Well, this is interesting. We have something resembling a double top now, and a great big test of the extreme. A really extended test of the extreme. There's another bear push, or pardon me, bullish push. I thought for a second here we may get a counter trend signal, but it hasn't developed just yet. Yes, Jeff, you're absolutely correct. We got ourselves a late filter entry here on the Falcon. The late filter entry, sometimes it can develop early, this one coinciding with the trend change signal. Generally speaking, it is a little bit more of a continuation pattern, but a strong signal all the same. Those late filter entry signals tend to be pretty reliable, at least reliable enough to find your high probability profit objective. Okay, so we've got a couple more tests or retests of the high. We do have something, well, we do have an uptrend, no question about that. I thought we were going to see a little bit more of a push up here. but maybe not. So I'm open to the possibility of a counter-trend signal. If we get it. Well, they're still bullish here. All right. Well, we'll put that on the shelf. A breakdown of this rally is shortable. So if I come back with a sell signal here, that will be something to consider selling. All right, there's the soft edge sell. I'm going to punch in a sell order. So this is the short that I've been waiting on. Sure, they bring me in and then they stall. Here we go. Well, they're thinking about it. Here we go. We at least got one bar in our favor. Woohoo! Yeah, Paul says this is an area that was resistance yesterday. You're absolutely correct about that. Okay, got the break-even trigger, and hopefully, see, I was a little bit late on my entry. Had I got my entry where I intended, I would have hit my high probability target. Oh, don't you dare. Don't you dare flinch now. Ah, oh well. Nothing you can do about it. I do suspect the market may try to head a little bit lower from here. But overall, we still have more of a bullish trend, so that might be the way to stay. But I've had enough fun for one day, so let's button up shop here, and I will see you again on Monday. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.